It's Boxtober, and I got the Boxleitner brothers here, Sam and Lee. Welcome to the show, guys.
Boxtober. Groovy.
What makes a good horror movie?
Crew of people. Usually, they make bad horror movies too. But
Yeah.
is that not what we're talking about?
No one ever talks about the crew. And as filmmakers, is that like integral in the final product, having a good crew?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a crew that really gels with each other and it's like a big family and you're having fun every day, you're gonna see it in the product. You
Yeah.
can see movies where you're like, wow, the crew did not have a good time.
Well, story.
Story,
hands down.
Script.
I'm weird this way, but I think every movie starts with a script, and
Unless it's Casablanca, which we all know was a shitty movie.
and
Yeah.
weirdly enough, considered
They
the
winged
greatest script. They wrote it as they were going, and
Did you know there was no script for Casablanca?
Are you joking?
When they made
and
Casablanca?
it is considered the #1 best script according to the WGA. It's the #1 best script.
It's one of my favorite films of all time.
Yeah.
It's one of the
They
greatest.
wrote every scene the night before shooting.
That's kind of
They
like
were
The
just-
Shining, actually. All morning, Stanley Kubrick would
All work and no
rewrite
play.
the script.
All work and no play. His assistant, I think, had to write all of that.
Oh, jeez. He also terrorized Shelley Duvall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is not
They had the
cool.
record
Do not
for the most amount of takes for a while.
The baseball bat. Go away.
If that baseball bat looks heavy, it's because they're on probably a take 120.
Yeah, and her arms like can't even hold it anymore. But it looked great though.
Do you think torturing your cast has something to do with?
It depends on if you're related to any of your cast members.
And if you like them.
That's right, because you guys can you kind of blur the lines between what you guys can,
Yeah.
how you guys can treat each other, because it's not just
Yeah.
an employee, employer, coworker relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a brother relationship.
Usually, like, if we're doing a scene where he's running a lot, well, I'll probably request 3 extra takes, knowing we don't need them.
You won't even roll camera.
Won't even roll. Just be
Never-
like, oh, we need to do that again. Sorry. It was
just-
technical. It was us, not you.
You're packing up, going to the next location, telling them to run laps.
Yeah. The cameras are all hidden here, 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 and here. So I want you to run, and I want you to favor each camera once you get there. But keep running. That's a true story. It was weird too. Like after wrapping everything up and looking at receipts and stuff. Apparently, we only had 1 camera.
Yeah. Our DP, we work with Dave Jacobson, who's a phenomenal director of photography.
Genius.
He's really fast with his cameras, so we got all the angles. He just ran around in the shadows.
The finished product was better than subpar, and that's all that matters.
Because there is kind of a genre of low-budget horror movies. So I was afraid that it was going to be too polished,
Yeah.
in a way.
I mean, it was perfectly polished, I think.
I don't know if there are a lot of high-budget horror movies.
Well, there's high budget for horror.
Right.
Like, it was, I think, 33 million. It's
big
like
budget
the
for-
Titanic for horror movies.
Yeah.
But for a lot of movies, that's, craft service.
Right. I remember hearing that Drag Me to Hell, Sam Raimi, who's
I love that
we're
movie.
kind of into Sam Raimi over here, and I love that movie. Apparently, it was something like 15 or
Yeah, it was
17 million.
15
or something.
million, I think.
And he'd just come off from doing Spider-Man, so he was like, "Oh my God, what do? I don't have any money to make this." And I'm thinking $15 million is a
could
lot.
make 30 horror
Yeah, and when
movies.
you think of like Blumhouse's magic kind of numbers, like what now, 3 to
Yeah.
5 million.
Wow.
Get Out, which was the most successful film of the year, if you consider how much it was made for, which was 4.5 million. It made over 100
That was-
million the opening weekend.
That was a brilliant. See, that's one of the things where story and script really is important, because Get Out, that script is brilliant.
Starts with
Yeah.
the script. Now the
Yeah.
performances
the
came
performances are the performances.
The performances are
Fanatic.
flanantic.
And that wraps up our show.
Are you okay?
Welcome back. What were you saying?
I don't know what we were talking about. If you missed it, Aristotle's chair decided to die. Right now would be a good time for the clip. None of us actually stopped to help you out.
Boxtober.
Oh, we were talking about how a good horror movie has a good script.
Is there a good horror movie with a bad script?
I'm going a little Bill Clinton on this one. It depends on what your definition of good is.
Yeah, and bad.
And bad. A lot of bad movies are highly enjoyable.
One could say, I don't know, just one off the top of my head, and I love this movie, but like Bride of Reanimator. If you were just to read that script, you'd probably be like, this is ridiculously
Sorry,
bad.
Brian Usnan.
But there is a charm that makes it better than so many other movies. It makes it a classic.
If it's so ridiculous and bad, but it's still really enjoyable, then is it bad?
No, I guess not.
No. But you have to really strike that fine line of how bad bad your script is and how charming it could be. The worst movie ever made, officially, probably is The Room, and that's because it's. I mean, everything about it is terrible. The script is.
There's a lot of people enjoy that.
But if you're by yourself at home watching it, good luck getting through it. That's my take on it. Like it's charming for like the first 15, 20 minutes and has its really bad moments after that. But getting through it after you've seen it at least once is nearly impossible.
Hi, doggy.
You're my favorite customer.
I tried to do it and I can't do it. I was alone, so that didn't help.
Oh, hi, Mark.
You go to a theater where people are acting out or whatever, like they do, in,
You should watch it with
I've never done that. Right.
Then you have live commentary.
That would be great.
What do you think about the
Disaster Artist?
Disaster
I
Artist.
can't wait.
yeah.
Hopefully it's not just a movie that's fun for people who make movies.
But it looks like they're trying to build some heart
Yeah.
into. I mean, because Tommy Wiseau really it seems passionate about that movie.
Yeah.
Just, like legitimately,
Yeah.
like unironically.
Unironically, yeah, no, it's so true.
Well, he made it that way on purpose. That's what he says, I think.
He does now because so many people know about the movie. He's like, oh yeah, well it's because I planned on making the most terrible movie ever. Can you actually purposely make a bad movie?
Lost Skeleton of Cadaver. If you haven't seen Lost Skeleton of Cadaver, watch it. It's
Right.
so authentically done in the vein of a 1960s C movie. Yeah. If you're a fan of those movies, it's brilliant because it's got some great parts, but it's also got some really long, boring parts. But for some reason it works because it's done like one of those movies. They don't try and modernize any of it. There are always boring parts in these movies, so we're going to do long, boring parts. My favorite line of that is she was part human, part 3 woodland animals.
3 woodland animals.
She was a were-chipmunk.
Squirrel, fox.
Does a horror movie have to have an iconic villain to be great?
No. I don't think it does. It helps if you got your Jason, your Michael, your Freddy, your
Leatherface.
Pennywise, your Leatherface. But Pennywise is the new Freddy Krueger, I feel like, for a whole new generation of people.
Evil Dead, I guess.
Evil Dead
is the hero.
It's
really more
yeah,
about,
it's the hero who you
way
root
more
for.
about
You
the
root for
protagonist.
Ash,
Yeah.
you know, but you still love seeing those Deadites. You just want to see him chop them to.
Yeah, cut him to pieces with his cool chainsaw arm.
No, you don't really need a great villain as long as the story is good and it's a villain that's relatable enough. Then I don't know. I mean, you need good scares.
I like a lot of like good horror movies that like where the evil in it or the bad guy in it or bad guys in it are more of a personification of inner real human demons.
Right.
And I think Pennywise is a great example of that. But then we were talking about in the last episode about The Shining. The Overlook Hotel is the bad guy.
Yeah.
But it's all a representation of alcoholism, abuse. I mean, it's all a representation of that.
I watched an interview with John Carpenter and he was talking about horror stories and how there are really only 2 horror stories, and I completely agree with what he was saying. The first story is a shaman and his tribespeople around the fire, and the shaman points out into the dark and says, there's a monster out in that darkness. It's the first kind of story. The second kind of horror story is the shaman with his tribespeople sitting around a fire, and the shaman says, the monster is in here. That's true. With all horror movies, the 2 elements of fear is the unknown and the fear of oneself. And I think if you've got a villain who can personify one of those things perfectly, then you're going to have a good horror movie.
So what we learned is what makes a good horror movie is what makes a good movie, basically.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us. Hit that. I've always wanted to do this. I've seen people do it on YouTube. Hit the notification button.
Yeah.
Smash that like button and be
think
sure to
it's already-
subscribe.
And leave a comment below.
And do it on our channel too.
I'm Aristotle Full Throttle, your bro in the know at the fro, and I'll see you later.
Thanks for watching. The Box Lightner Brothers will be here all month for some more Boxtober.
Hey, when does it end?
Is it going to make a sound or something? Or?
It never ends.
I think the eye closes, right?
This
Yeah.
goes on
It
forever.
didn't blink yet.
You guys are trapped in purgatory.